Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Jason Damico Show. So happy to be back for another episode, 120 something in at this point, and we just want to thank you guys so much for the support. Been looking forward to this episode for a few months now, and we were finally able to get the schedules to coexist with this. Our guest today is a Grammy-considered blues artist and much more who hails from Baton Rouge, Louisiana originally. In 2011, he was named Guitar Center's King of the Blues, and since then has shared countless stages with notable acts such as B.B. King, Luther Kent, and Samantha Fish, and many others. His recent record, Parables of a Southern Man, is out now and can be heard on your favorite streaming platforms along with SiriusXM 74 Bluesville. Please welcome to the show the incredibly talented Jonathon Boogie Long.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to have you, man. And I just said before we went on the air, because you were talking about, having the guitar with you and everything, and always having a guitar in your hands. I said, it's not a problem at all because you are personally one of my favorites. I discovered you through the Guitar Center video, I would say a few years back, and then discovered you through Wild Heart Records and Samantha Fish with that collaboration. And, as a guitar player, I dig you so much as a musician, guitar player, writer, producer. I absolutely love your playing. You're so inspiring. And I just had to get you on the show. So I'm really honored to have you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be on, it's an honor to be able to talk and promote and just be included, so
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, I'd love to dive into your beginning stages real quick. You've got an incredible story. And I can, rattle off some bullet points here, but I'd love to hear even before going on the road at 14, the whatever joint custody that was signed at one point. So you can actually go on. I mean, that's just an incredible story. But even before that, how did you get into music? How did this start for you?
My grandfather played guitar and sang gospel in churches and stuff, and my parents were street ministers, so they would set up like PA equipment, put tapes in a tape deck, and sing kind of karaoke style to whatever message they were preaching or what.
Wow.
And so I grew up in a real religious home, around a lot of music. I listened to a lot of gospel growing up and stuff, and I've owned a guitar since I was, 6 or 7. And about 8.5 or so on my dad's birthday, we went in a pawn shop and he bought me a guitar on his birthday that was a white Oscar Smith with the Lord's fish painted on it. And I took that guitar and went to Mark's Music in Denham Springs, Louisiana, and took lessons, around that time. And then after about a year of lessons, Mark told my dad, I've pretty much showed him how to figure out songs on his own. I mean, there's not really anything else to show him, So right. I just used to play. I just used to play so much. Like I played when I got home from school. I would play upside down, right side up, out on the porch, in my bedroom. I was always playing, something. And I think even more than playing a lot, I just listened to a lot of music, a lot of different styles of music. I didn't really. I didn't really like stick to, I knew about Stevie Ray, I knew about Hendrix and all that, but I listened to like the Aquarium Rescue Unit and Jill Scott,
wow,
live in Washington, D.C., the Clark Sisters, Daryl Cooley. I was listening to some of the best musicians in the world growing up. Not that. What I'm trying to say is instead of being more mainstream, I listen to more underground and more fusion-y kind of stuff, And so when I was 11, Dixie, I was in Mark's Music just hanging out, and Dixie Rose, this lady from Baton Rouge, came in and she said, "Hey, I want you to come play some guitar with me. You're awesome, and I could really use a guitar player." So I'm 11 years old. And that's the first time I played in a club environment. And
wow.
She showed me the blues jams. She showed, we had a place called Swamp Mamas, and they had red beans and rice and pizza on Sunday nights. So they were serving food, so they kind of let me slide by. I had this kind of bullshit document from the ABC board that they told me, well, as long as all these things are included, you'll be able to do such and such. But none of it was really legal. They just kind of let me slide,
right.
know. So 11, I'm playing with Dixie. I played with her for a little while. She introduced me to Henry Turner, and then really what happened is I was going to be a high school band director. The second semester of ninth grade, I had got strep throat, and my band director took away all my solos and moved me down to last chair. I played French horn in band,
Yeah.
I went in the office and I told him, if you don't change his mind, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit school and go play music. And they said, well, once a teacher makes up his mind, we can't really change it, And so I really put into homeschool in a way, because you're not really supposed to be able to drop out till you're 16.
Right.
I put into homeschool and just never turned in any work or went back. And they never came looking for me. It wasn't like they didn't do their job either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got a gig with Henry Turner, who was a reggae artist. He had a trio.
Yeah.
And I played bass. I played bass with Henry for, till I was 16 or so. And then I went to Austin, I went to Austin. My dad dropped me off with these three brothers from Nevada that had a band called Leatherhand. And they wrote like the most beautiful kind of Southern Rocky kind of stuff, And I played bass with them for a while, got a gig playing with Chris Duarte after I broke off with the brothers.
Another great player. God.
Yeah, he's awesome too. We butt heads a lot because we're both, he's a front man and I'm kind of a front man style person. Like I don't step. It's not about stepping on toes. I'm just very into it. I'm toned down a lot more now, but when I was a kid, I was very into it. Like you saw the faces I used to make. They're ridiculous, right? So I mean,
they're the best.
But it's feeling it. It's feeling it. Well, and when,
exactly.
And the older you get, the more tame with it you get, because you're like, I feel this shit, but I can, I'm kind of more tame with it. But when you're young, it's like, you're all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where I was 18, I played with Dr. John one time, and Dr. John told the bass player, man, this kid's too showboaty. Don't get him anymore,
Yeah.
As just a backup guitar player.
Right.
So anyway, I played with Chris for a couple months, and Henry got in a situation where he needed somebody again. So I moved back to Louisiana, started playing bass with Henry again a little while. I played with Big Luther Kent in this 12-piece big band, and I got a lot
Luther
of
Kent. What a voice.
When I was 18, I became first call guitar for that band, and I was a kid. That band is seasoned 60 and 70-year-old veterans.
Yeah, man.
So I was very much the young buck in an older, very seasoned band.
Right.
And they kind of whipped me into shape, like hey man, listen to this and listen for these hits, and when the horns come in here, bring your vibe down, and that's kind of how I got that, because I was always a burner. I mean, Sean Lane is my favorite guitar player ever in history. So I've always been a kind of into that fusion-y kind of burny stuff, but they helped me hone it down and like find that pocket blues to where now I feel like I can play any of the old school tunes, with the best. If somebody wants me to come in and do an Albert Collins show, you know what I mean? I feel like I can handle that in what I'm trying, disciplined,
in taste
is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In taste, and be tasteful.
In taste.
Not bad, better. Not that. Not that, just straight up, and that's kind of where I learned just to back somebody up, like for real.
Yeah.
those old guys hold you accountable. If you ain't doing your part, they're on you. So anyway, I did that situation for a while, and then in 2011, I won Guitar Series King of the Blues. I wore the right suit.
We got
I wore the right suit the whole time.
We got to talk about that, because that's one of the most iconic videos I've seen in the last 10, 15 years in the YouTube world. What was that like? So what was that, like a week long
No, it was months. It was
months.
When you win the local round, when you win locally, you have to go to district, and then you go to regionals, and then you go to Hollywood for the grand final. So there's 4 different rounds. I had to travel 4 different times, or 3 different times.
Wow.
So basically, when you win the local round, you go to district, and it's the 10 top players in the district. Let's just say that's Texas, Arkansas, whatever, and then you go to regional, which is each region, and then there's 10 players there. So each round has 10 players. And I played against some. I mean, Daniel Donato was at regionals.
Wow.
He's an amazing player from Nashville, and I pulled one that round. I pulled number 1, so I was the first person out of 10 to play, and they listened to all 10 people and still determined that I had the blues. More so than everybody else, but. It was cool, I mean, both of those rounds were in Hallandale, Florida. So then I fly to Hollywood. I get there, we're hanging out. Warren Haynes, Joe Bonamassa, Mick Mars from Motley Crue is a judge, Jimmy Vivino from Conan O'Brien's show. Like, there's like so many amazing guys, and everybody was great. I drew 5. There was the top 5 people in the country. It was five regional winners. And I drew number 5, so I was the last person at the grand finals to play.
Yeah.
And Pinecone Fletcher played a cigar box guitar, so I just automatically thought he was going to win. But Warren Haynes, I didn't watch anybody play. I stayed upstairs and just kind of stayed in my own zen.
Yeah.
And then not to get. I mean, this is a podcast, so we can get a little personal.
No, dude, this
chick comes up.
Yeah, no, I've never.
Comes up to me and she says, "Hey man," she says, "I know you're about to play. Do you want to smoke a bowl?" And I was like, "Yeah." So this chick smokes a bowl with me. I get totally relaxed, and I go out there. And Warren Haynes, right before I walked on stage, he says, "Hey man, go give them hell and play your heart out."
Yeah.
And Pete and the rest of the other rounds, you played to a backing track of Pete Anderson's band, right? Pete Anderson from Dwight Yoakam's band. At the grand finals, you play with Pete Anderson's band. So I walk out on stage. Pete Anderson counts the tune off. They play it just like they recorded it as the backing track.
Yeah.
And I did my thing. I mean, like I say, I wore the right suit. Oh, when I walked out, Joe Bonamassa said, "Our next guest has a suit so sharp you could set a watch to it," which I thought was clever. Joe's kind of witty. So
yeah.
So anyway, so I ended up winning. I got a 335, a bunch of Ignator amps, and a Gibson Hummingbird, in a Sheridan Elita, or a Sheridan, and that was up to that point. And then when I won the grand finals, I got $25,000 in cash, a '59 reissue Les Paul, a bunch of amps, and Gibson endorsement, a write-up in Guitar World. I did 3 songs at Pete Anderson's house that I don't even think I ever put them out. But I went and recorded 3 tunes at his place. And so anyway, I won that, and that was a trip. But it didn't really do a lot other than it got me a couple festivals and some people that had never heard of me heard about me or whatever. But I was playing the Rock and Bowl, and John Blanchard fell in love. I mean, the owner of the Rock and Bowl loves me, and he said, "Man, has Quint Davis ever heard you play?" And I said, "Yeah, he's heard me play with Luther Kent, but he's never seen my band." And he said, "Well, Quint, who owns the Jazz Fest," he said, "Quint's got to see you play." And I said, "Okay." So then he sets up another gig, gets Quint to come. And after the show, he says, "Hey, man, Quint wants to talk to you backstage." And Quint just thought I was the greatest thing ever. And he said, "Man, where have you been?" And blah, blah, blah. So he helped me get my first management deal. He called, he's a big wig guy. And he called Corin Capshaw, who was Dave Matthews' manager. He owns Red Light Management, which is one of the biggest companies in the whole country,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And then Corin flew Chris Tetzelli and his sidekick at the time, who were running the Red Light Denver office, to Baton Rouge to hear me play. And then Chris Tetzelli told me, "Hey, man, artists like you are the reason that I got into this business."
Yeah.
I mean, I had bronchitis, and I got signed. So I got a management deal, and they helped me. I had an independent record that I recorded. They helped me kind of release it when I toured with BB King. I recorded the record. Then they got me 15 shows with BB in April of 2013. So I did those, and I got a booking deal, and the rest is kind of history as far as, I've just been trying to write a new record every couple of years and stay relevant, just like everybody else,
Yeah.
I mean, I never really caught on too big, but I don't know if that's, that could just be like the luck of my upbringing. Like, I listened to a lot of artists that were underground and never really made it that big, and that's my roots.
Right.
I never really, like, I've been told, "Oh, you're not rock star enough as far as like my attitude and personality," because I'm very personal,
Yeah.
and I don't like to be a douche. I like to talk to people and get to know people, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Sorry about that. I don't want to be that guy that just goes backstage and sits there until the next show. I mean, so anyway, I just write. I mean, I love writing and recording, and I play festivals, and I don't really do a lot of tours where I string a bunch of dates together and stuff. Right. I just haven't done a lot of those grind tours, and that hurts me too. But I mean, I love performing and I love to play, but writing and just arranging, singing, that's kind of my focus. I really want to build up social media more than anything. So anybody that's watching, go like my Instagram, go like my Facebook page, because that's my biggest goal, man, is just building that up, and I'm fixing to do a True Fire lesson video here with True Fire in the next couple of months. So just trying to promote, man. The two albums that I did, the Jonathon Long albums, they didn't catch on as big as I was hoping they would. And I'm kind of, I've always been Jonathon Boogie Long, and I'm kind of going in more of a Boogie Long direction, and just trying to be more easier to find online, and just be more obtainable, have my music be more obtainable. If somebody Googles the word boogie, if somebody Googles the word long, I want my song to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just, I mean, it just takes making the right moves and doing the right thing,
Well, and I think, we were talking about this on the show a few weeks back. I mean, just the volatility and the dynamics of this business. It's a very dynamic business, the entertainment industry, you know, whether you're in music or acting or film, you know, and especially now with content creation, things have just changed drastically.
Oh, definitely.
And it, you know, like, look, 2011, that when you won the Blues chat or the King of the Blues, Instagram, I don't think was around right at that point. I mean, Instagram started popping off around 2012, 2013, 2014. And it wasn't.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't around. I mean, TikTok wasn't around.
Yeah, TikTok's
for
still
sure.
very new.
You know?
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my camera just shuts off for some reason every half hour. I still don't know
why. That's all right.
It's all right. I matched yours shutting off for 3 seconds. So now we're we're even. We're even. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, to me personally, and you know, this is just really off the cuff here. This isn't a bullet point or anything. You know, the guitar in your hands, just capturing that on camera, I don't think you're gonna have any problems with building the following. You know, you've already proven time and time again from what I've seen and what I, you know, listening to the music and researching your life, you know, this week in preparation. I mean, it's like I said, man, it's just really awesome, inspirational music, and your playing is. You are a king of the blues. Like, literally, to me, that's, you want it, but even beyond winning it, modern day, you're at the top, you know?
Well, thank you. I've never been on a list, but that's okay. Because like I said, man, I listen to a lot of underground guys, and I get, you know, I always try to be as humble. I know somebody that would say that is not humble generally, but I always try to be as humble as possible.
Yeah.
And I get positive kudos, you know, and I just take that and I just try to keep being able to perform up to that expectation. Like when somebody says, you know, this, you know, I want to be here next time. You know, I want to meet that expectation.
Yeah.
You know, every time, and that's why if you play a place for 5 people, it's got to be the same performance as it is for 5,000.
Absolutely.
You know, because those 5 people are just as important. You know.
Yeah.
And, so I mean, thank you though. I've been at it a long time. You know, and I mix a lot of stuff. Like people don't, you know, there's the blues, and then there's fusion, and then there's, you know, you can turn all the blues licks into country licks. And,
yeah.
Replacing the 7. Like one of my favorite things to do, like if you're playing like a major, like if you're doing like a major scale, I always replace the 7 with a 7 flat. So if I do this.
Oh, that's nice.
Before going back to the 1. Right?
Yeah.
So just little nuances. That's just little things that I do to try to be different, you know?
Yeah. And I want to touch on that for a second. A couple of quotes from the site. You can't be hesitant. Everything I do, I try to stress positivity as much as possible. And then I try to be an artist who doesn't follow the rules. I'd love to just kind of dive into that and dovetail what you just described, because, you know, obviously there's blues, there's traditional blues. There's so many different, like, rock and roll is a baby of the blues. I think, you know, country as well. So all of these licks and all of these phrasings kind of materialize from the blues, and then You know, you just add more to story. If you play through a Marshall with a Les Paul, it's got a distinct sound. If you play through a Tele through a Fender, it's got another distinct sound. If you're chicken picking or whatever. But I want to kind of dive into, you know, you as the artist. What in your words, what does it mean by not following the rules? I think that's really important. It's said by a lot of different people, but you truly don't follow the rules, and I kind of want to I want to touch on that because
the rules being like I don't like being pigeonholed into a specific genre. Like
right.
if I'm feeling country, if I'm feeling a train beat, if I'm feeling alternative, if I'm feeling Americana, I write it. And if it's something that sticks in my head and is catchy enough that I'm singing it in my shower, then it can go on a record.
Right.
You know, I just because they classify me as a blues rock artist doesn't mean that I have to go. You know, I don't have to. You know, I don't have to do that. You know, it just doesn't have to be that. So I'm a musical gumbo. So one thing is I don't like being pigeonholed. I don't like being classified as Boogie Long is this. Boogie Long is, you know, folk Americana. Boogie Long is everything. That's the thing about being Boogie Long. You know, that's the thing about being Jason Damico. You are your own style. It's your interpretation of music. So yes, it can be blues roots. It can, to me, everybody's kind of roots rock in a way.
Right.
You know, we all kind of have a roots rock thing going on where that kind of classifies everything. It's not traditional blues. It's not contemporary blues. There's too many labels, you know?
Yeah.
It's just music. It's just music. It's either enjoyable music or not. And then there's different groups. There's people that are going to enjoy the not enjoyable music. There's, you know, it's just about what you like, you know? Yeah. And I mean, obviously, if it sounds like George Strait, it's country. If it sounds like B.B. King, it's the blues, you know, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, be an artist, like God rest his soul. Take Meatloaf for instance. So many different musical styles in his music.
Yeah.
There's opera. There's classic rock. There's the Broadway. There's theater. There's all these different story. It's like a story, you know, the music, and that's kind of how I try to be, you know. I'm not saying I'm as epic as Meatloaf. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say I just like to be different. I don't like to be classified as any particular thing, you know. So when I break the rules, I'll put a country song on a blues rock album. I just will.
It's great.
And to me, there's no rules. There's like the way that we consume music now is so much different anyway. We used to buy a record and then you hope you like the whole thing. And then if you don't, you pick the needle up and you put it on the song you like and you wear that spot out, you know. Or when you have CDs, you wear the CD out, you get another one, whatever. Well, now we're all on Apple Music. We're all on Spotify. We're all on Amazon Prime and blah, 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 YouTube Premium and all this shit, right? So guess what? Guess what, man? If somebody likes The Light off my self-titled album, but they don't like Bury Me, they can add The Light to their playlist and not bury me. You know?
It's great.
It's fine. It's fine to mix styles and show people, hey, I am an eclectic, you know, mother fricker. I'm an artist. You know what I mean? I'm a musical gumbo. I'm different. You know, I think it's fine to do that. You know, if I want to write a sad song about she left me in the rain, I'll write that. But if I want to sing a blues about I shot my dog, then there it is. You know, I mean, just just whatever, you know. I mean, I just don't follow any rules,
Well, you're
you
in
know.
good
And
company.
I tried to, you know, I've been told like, you know, don't get online if it looks tacky. Like, you got to always be dressed, blah blah blah, and have this certain look about you, and da 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 da, and all this. And no, you know, like, what, you know? Check this. Like when they took Boogie out my name, and I was just Jonathon Long. People were coming up to me going, "What do we call you now? We don't even know what to call." Listen, dude, I've been playing music since I was a child. You
Yeah.
know, after that many years, I got people coming up going, "What do we call you?" Really? Like, is that that's where I'm at after 20 something years of grinding, you know? So I mean, I'm just gonna I got a bunch of killer songs and I'm gonna put them all on a record, and they're gonna be different, and every song is gonna have its own thing. Each song is my, you know, I'll be producing this, so every song is my baby, and it's
Yeah.
just gonna be, and I'm just gonna take my time. So that'll be the next record. You know, I had this whole idea about calling it a certain thing and doing all this, but I really don't even know yet. I just know that I'm going to put 10 songs together. I may even release them as singles over a 10-month period. And then whenever they're all out, there's a record, you know? I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about it yet, but I'm putting it together, and I'm about to do you know, when I say a rebrand, I'm just really kind of going in a direction that makes my content easier to find. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to undermine. I'm not trying to have an identity crisis. I'm not trying to undermine the good work that people in the past have done. Because I'm not saying that I didn't find fans and people find out about me through those avenues that wouldn't have heard about me otherwise. It has helped, but numbers wise, I'm still hard to find, and that's my goal, is to become easier for people to find. When you type blues rock guitar, I want Boogie Long to be a staple in that, and everybody has that. We all have that goal. We all want that
Yep.
for ourselves, but
Yep.
I have to find out how to make it happen, how I can make it happen for myself, you know, and that's kind of where I'm at, you know. I mean,
For sure. Yeah, there's so much noise out there, you know,
oh,
and
there's a lot of noise.
that's the thing, is like there's so much noise, and now it's not just being an artist. You have to be your own network. You have to be your own TV show. You know, I mean, if you really want to build like a huge following, astronomical following, and whether there's a team helping or not or whatever, you know, somebody goes viral on TikTok, somebody else is going to go viral tomorrow. So it's just this crazy. It can get really nutty, you know.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna say this right now, and I'm gonna be the guy. The Island Boys, bro. The Island Boys. That's what it's come to.
Right.
It's crazy. Like they've been writing videos for people singing the same little tune for what, 6 months now, and they're like the biggest thing on the internet.
Right.
And it's I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna be an asshole. It's terrible. It's horrible, man. It just is, you know. And when we had WAP at the Grammys, bro, we started. I think the first rock and roll. I may be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that the first Grammy for rock and roll music was Tequila. Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is a way long ago, bro. Now we got WAP.
Yeah.
Like what? Like that's what's on the Grammys.
Yeah.
You know, Kanye West. Kanye West was nominated for best gospel album or something like that, and Marilyn Manson was on it. gospel. I mean, let's just be real here, okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people act so dumb to music that guy said he wanted to change his name to Christian billionaire genius Kanye West, and it literally went by everybody. Everybody just thought he was they just said, okay, you're the number one gospel artist now because you're Kanye West. And I just think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like wow.
It is wild.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, it is wild.
They took Manson's Grammy nomination away, rap nomination, because he was featured on a rap song. They took it away from him. They said, "Oh, you're not rap. You can't have that nomination." You know? But that's crazy. It's just crazy that, I mean, that even that collaboration, it's like, here's a song about Jesus, Marilyn Manson, Wiz Khalifa. You know? Like, what? It's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm talking too much, but I'm just like, it blows me away, the direction of music sometimes nowadays. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
You know? And but I'm not judgmental, dude. I listen to Dream Theater on the same playlist as the Staple Singers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
well, you're a music lover. You're like me. There's so many different.
I think in order to write the right way, not necessarily the right way. That's I'm saying it the wrong way, but I think it makes sense to listen to a lot of different musics.
Oh yeah.
If you're a writer, and if you're a arranger, and trying to take that avenue, you know, you want to have as much information that you can musically, you know. Yeah. I'm wording it wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like a catalog or a Rolodex,
right?
You know, a filing of information where, you know, I mean, for example, like in the production world, right? Because I've started building a studio when I was 14, 15, scraping together money. My parents helped me invest in it, you know, the whole thing. Similar story, right? So I just became obsessed with, there were certain records that I would listen to, and this was before I really got into production per se, but I kept hearing these records. I was like, damn, that's like the mix and the vibe, and they're different bands, but I'm like, man, there's something about these records that stand alone in their own discography. And then later on, I'd come to find out, oh, that's Brendan O'Brien who produced those. Oh, that's Bob Rock. Oh, that's I mean, who, like, just put in whatever name, and, or, you know, Rick Rubin or whatever. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. And you hear that information, and then you see the trends, and you only really see the trends through really diving in and listening or playing to it 500, 1,000 times, whatever. And then you realize, oh, okay, you make a log of that. You know, and then for me personally, all the artists that I really liked, a lot of them were either self-produced or they co-produced with a producer. So that was what my ear had an affinity towards, or enjoyed listening to, you know, and everybody's got their own tastes. I'll tell you something that's really crazy. When you look at the music, like the pop today, pop, R&B, whatever, you know, anything that's really mainstream right now, you'll go like with the Grammys when you're voting. I'm an Academy member, and I'm looking through all this, and I've never seen anything like this before. And I don't know how long this has been going on, but if you go to the writers, there's, like, on a Bieber song, there's 40 names. And then you go to engineers, and there's like 50 names, producers, 34. It's like, how is this even possible? How do you have 50 people produce a 3.5-minute song? is somebody sitting there producing the snare hit. You know, like it's just crazy.
I mean, if you walk in there and say, hey man, that 250K or whatever, I'm not up to lingo, but you got to pull that down a little bit, whatever.
Right.
And they do that. Yeah. You're in.
Wow.
You know, that's how it's like, well, you know, that's why the work for hires and sync and stuff are such a big deal.
Right.
You know,
right.
Because you got to know everything's got to be logged and kept track of, you know.
Let me while we're talking about writing and the creative and everything, I want to get an idea of your writing process. And I'm going to preface that with this first, which is, you know, I was listening to the new record, obviously heard it when it came out last year, dove back into it again this week, and Madison Square Garden, love the vibe, love the lyrical content. I identify with it a lot. Pain, same thing. You know, some of these lyrics are really like, if you're an artist and you've been grinding, or if you're a content creator, creative, whatever in the arts, I mean, your music it speaks to it phenomenally. So thanks for writing those songs, first of all, because
thank you.
Extremely authentic, and you're really, you know, wearing your heart out on your sleeves on those. I'd love to kind of hear your writing process for songs like that, or pretty much, you know, whatever you write.
It's just different for so many things.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll be writing kind of when I'm driving. I know that sounds terrible, but I'll be thinking it.
Yeah.
And then I use voice memos.
Voice memo.
Like
I know.
I'll hum out a line, or I'll think about a groove or something, you know, and I'll usually sit there and sing it in my head until it gets stuck, and then I'm kind of like vibing on it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times that'll become like my chorus section in a way, or maybe not. Sometimes I'll start at a chorus and then kind of build around it, and then sometimes I'll just come up with like a straight up idea, like you know, I'm going to write a song. I got one called Politics and Religion that I've never recorded, that talks about meeting this chick in a diner, and she says, let's sit down and have a cigarette, you know, whatever. And then you talk about politics and religion, never raise your voices. We talk about good times with good friends and bad decisions and choices, you know, just I'll come up with like storyline.
That's great.
That way, where it's just like, and then you have to come up with the storyline. Once you get like, we talked about politics and religion, never raised our voices. We talked about good times with good friends and bad decisions and choices, right?
Yeah.
So once you get that, you got to do like the second verse is like, wrote my number on a napkin, left it with $100 bill. The coffee wasn't that great, but the conversation was my best to date. You know, just like you have to go through like.
I gotta say, man, like those are some damn good country lyrics. I know.
Oh yeah,
I know that. Like,
and you feel that it's country,
dude.
Feel that it's country.
Yeah,
though, you know?
That's got the country vibe, man.
Definitely.
So I don't know if you're ever gonna go in that direction. You know, like kind of like full stop, but you've got some good country songs and material.
I go all directions, bro. That's the thing about it. Like I had one. I'm trying to think of two kinds of love. Well, I wrote a blues tune that's catchy. It's like, well, I've seen a lot of love go right and wrong in my life. I seen a Louisiana girl become a country Louisiana wife. Well, I seen a lot of cheating men are coming home every night. Then it says, well, my sisters and my brothers, there's two kinds of lovers. Everybody's got their time. Right, there's two kinds of lovers. One is good and there's the other. There is me and there's another. right? There is two kinds of lover. Now look, I seen a love turn disaster go to happily ever after again. I seen the kind that was right with God turn out to be a downright sin. Look, I seen it cost $100 and I seen it happen free as a song. Right? So just that vibe.
Yeah.
That's more like mainstreamy kind of bluesy kind of, just putting that groove, that backbeat on it.
Yeah.
And so just many different styles of music, but in the same vein, like this week I've been working on one that's like I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet because I wrote this one backwards. I wrote the chorus and then I kind of went into what I picture in my head as the second verse, right? But then I realized that if I go into the song this way, I can use that second verse as the first verse and it'll work that way. But this is some real deep stuff. So I was like, so the chorus line at first was like, you were the only one I ever wanted and more. Don't think that I've ever felt a love so strong before. The moment you came in my life and you kicked down my heart's door. Verse sections, everything changed. Nothing's the same. I get butterflies, tears in my eyes at the sound of your name. Beauty is just a 6-letter word. But when referring to you, it's the best conversation these ears ever heard. Then I say, you made me feel special. Yeah, you made me feel whole. You made me feel that I can break the silence and tear down these walls. And I like this line, look. But I don't think I can make it. But you're damn right, I'll try. If you're gonna, there'll be some shit if you leave this world even a day before right?
Yeah.
So it's just strong. It's just like, and that's supposed to be kind of anthemy, like, there'll be some shit if you leave this world even a day before it's just the emotion behind it.
Right. Right.
So, and that's more like a pop rock alternative-y kind of, it's got that, it's got that vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I just write so many different,
many different
styles. So on that one, just many different styles, and then I got one that talks about being. I got one of the courses. I may never see Wuhan, China. Yeah, I might die alone. I might live out every single word, every one of my songs. I may never be the man that you think I should. At best, I'm the best he could, right? And then it goes into the
yeah. Yeah.
So it's just got like it's more of a train beat, So there's just different kind of right there. That's 3 different, completely different styles of music, and the goal is to touch those people, like the people that are in those audiences. I have something for everybody. I have something that everybody can enjoy.
Right.
And I think that's the key, because if somebody calls me and says, "Hey man, I got 5,000 people that are coming to hear you go," right? I can get out there and play the swamp pop. I can get up there and play the what blues, whatever. We'll shred it all, whatever you want. But that's not really what I'm about. And I'm about a musical gumbo. Like I can do that with the best of them all night for an hour and a half, 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever. But but I try to be more artistic than that, and more tell more of a story, have more of a hook, have more of a feeling behind it, and just write.
Sure.
I listen to so much different shit, man. If I grew up on R&B and black gospel, so I mean, like, when I think about a lick, I don't really think about. I'd rather play. I just rather play some, like, so, I'm just more chordy, and so I mean, that's just always been my vibe,
Yeah.
And then I take that with fusion,
I gotta ask you real quick. When you're soloing, what the hell is going on through your head, if anything? Like, what is happening? Because you get in those moments when you're just in flow state, you could say. And the music is like, for me, when I'm at my best, when I'm soloing personally, what I've noticed, and I'm trying to tap more into this after all these years, this is like now it's the next level of, just getting more into this, is like this place of the ego kind of goes away, and you're really just playing, you're hearing what you want to play, and you're just translating in real time. Is that something that you've noticed with you?
To you, we all get comfortable with our, let's just say, shapes or boxes. We're all comfortable with our,
right,
what we know, like what we know on the net,
right.
And then I take that and I sing. I try to be a singer with it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like I said, I listened to a lot of gospel growing up. So if somebody said, "Swing low, sweet chariot," oh yeah, So they all them little vocal licks in there, and I'm just thinking, so I'm thinking like I'm singing it,
Right.
That's where you get the. So I mean, it's all just like, it's all singing, and it's really gospel vocal licks and saxophone licks, like when you really break it down.
Wow.
More so than, it's more soul, like but that's the thing about the way that I play, is that I try to mix many different styles. Like if I want to do do a country thing or whatever, and then, but it's the same thing. All that shit is the same thing as. Right? It's just all picking patterns.
Right.
It's all about how you want to sing it. It's singing with your instrument. So it's how you want to throw it out there, because we all got it here, and it's all the same shit.
Right.
But you can make that country, you can make that blues, you can make that soul. You know what I mean? And you just take it to fit whatever style you want. Whatever you're comfortable with on the net, to you just take it and change it up with picking patterns, basically.
It's just so
But
clean.
I look at everything. Well, I've been playing as long as anybody
Oh
else.
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I look at everything numbers wise, though. And it's all about, as far as changes and stuff. It's all about numbers. And then
Right.
once you know those shapes, you know, you, you know, you should be able to play any song in the world
Yeah.
within reason. You're not going to play a Dream Theater song, but you can play any Creedence Clearwater song. You can play any Skinner song, whatever. You should be able, once you know that. So anyway, I just have so many different styles that I mix. A guy from Guitarist Magazine one time said, he asked me not to ever quote this, so I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he said, man, he said, if I could play guitar like anybody, he said, I've interviewed everybody. He said, I want to play like you because you're not necessarily the best at any style as far as the greatest in the world, but you play all styles so good, like so solid, that you can get by playing anything. And I'm not talking, that's what somebody else said about me. I'm
Right.
not talking about myself. But I think that's true in the sense that I can make my style, like the way that I play, fit in with anything. I can make it fit in with metal, if I have to. And I have licks and sounds and things for everything, So I mean, if I want to, it's just about having all that. It's about having all that different stuff under your hands,
Right. Right.
Just being able to utilize it. It's tools, It's
Oh yeah.
tools.
Well, and that's what I mean by, like, it's so clean. And when I've just watched you solo and play on YouTube or whatever, it's just that the dexterity and being able to play with such consistency with those higher speeds. How was that? How was there ever like did you ever sit down and go, I'm going to really, work on speed, or was it more of just, playing, loving what you were doing? How did that happen for you?
Just repetitiveness, and then like practicing repetitive things, and then making those things challenging. Like if I was doing a major scale, I'd make it more challenging. Like,
yeah.
And just adding little stuff like that to where it makes you think about it, and it makes you use this picking up and down.
Right.
And then once you get the picking up and down thing under your belt, it's all about the hybrid picking after that. Just being able to just kind of feather in it,
Yeah.
And then I just did it a lot. I just played it, and then it comes with just playing a lot. Playing with people in a lot of different musical situations, putting yourself in a situation where you have to improv, because the more you improv, practice with backing tracks even.
Mm-hmm.
The more you improv, the better you get at improv.
Yeah.
And the more your vocabulary, your dictionary gets bigger. Your vocabulary gets bigger. And then if you instead of saying, like if I played something in C, instead of going, I open my vocabulary to just whatever, just like the more you do it, the more you expand, and the more and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Practice makes perfect, damn it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you sit on your couch while you're watching TV, or your dog's taking a nap or whatever, and you sit there and you just do it and be repetitive, that's how you get the speed, and just putting yourself in situations where you can use it, be able to play.
Yeah, and the touch has so much to do with it too. One of the things I noticed over the years is I've was a drummer first. So for me, things were always more percussive. And then as I, went through the countless hours and working away and, songwriting, getting more proficient on guitar, I know, especially in the last, I'd say 5 years with getting more finesse because I just wanted to do it. It was like, oh, these movements are really small. Like when you start getting to those medium, faster, and just, single notes with acoustic, right? I mean, these are like really technical things, but what I've noticed is that obviously when you're playing one note, that's 1/6 of what's going on if you play all 6 strings at once and strum. So, balancing the volume of not with a knob, but really your hand and how hard you're
Oh,
going to hit.
definitely.
That
Yeah.
nobody really, I'm self-taught on the instrument, but I never really find anybody talking about those nuances anywhere, from playing for over like 15 years now. I still haven't seen, and I taught students, I used to teach them to be cognizant of that. But that's I think that's one of the biggest things on guitar is to have the relaxed wrists and the dexterity when you start getting up to those higher speeds. Because if you're clenched, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Again, that just comes with playing so
Right.
long. Playing, just putting a lot of time into it.
The comfort.
And yeah, because when we all make mistakes and play notes that don't belong when we first start, and then we realize what works and doesn't work.
Right.
And then it all ties into it. You're not gonna take a kid off the street that's been listening to Metallica his whole life and teach him in a week or two how to play Blackbird Living in the Dead of Night.
Right.
Or whatever. It's just not going to happen. Touch wise, I'm trying to think about how to explain it, but your musical upbringing has a lot to do with the way that you approach how you're
the instrument.
playing. The instrument.
Yeah.
Like what you grew up listening to. If you grew up listening to stuff that's hard, you're gonna attack it harder,
Right.
A lot of times. But if you I grew up listening to a lot of Spanky Alford, playing jazz guitar with D'Angelo, and those the nuances, and you hear subtleties and nuances and things, and we're impressionable creatures. We're creatures of habit, and we're impressionable. So you hear those things, and you start to vibe on it and understand it and utilize it in your own tools. That's why one of the things that I stress is being diverse and listening to so many different styles of music. Be diverse, because it can only help you as a musician. That's mainly for musician listeners. Like don't be snobby, be diverse, listen and feel it, and we're constantly learning. We'll never know never will any of us know everything there is to know about this thing, ever. Nobody. Steve Vai doesn't know everything there is to know. Okay. And it's just, we're constantly learning and evolving. Music is constantly evolving, so it's just I just tell people, man, don't worry about how many notes you can play. Don't worry about how fast you're playing. Just worry about saying what it is that you want to say. Just worry about figuring out how to utilize the instrument to say the message and to play the phrases that you're feeling and you want to say,
Yeah.
And don't worry about being the best. Don't worry about being over the top. Don't worry about cutting heads with Eric Johnson. Don't worry about singing like this person. You don't worry about that stuff. You just do the best you can. And then that's part of being different. Like if everybody played like Guthrie Govan, then there wouldn't be anything different to listen to. We'd have a million guitar virtuosos in the world, and it's just like, like sometimes sometimes the Bob Dylan shit is where it's hot. It's where it's at. Simple,
Yeah.
simple chords, C and F, like sometimes that's where it's at, and I think just be yourself musically, people. Don't worry about being anybody else, and just say, focus on saying what it is that you want to say, and learn how to, like I said, learn how to utilize your instrument to do just that. Let it be your voice. Let it be your voice. If you want to play a flat third where there should be a major third, goddamn it, then play it. And I don't even look at it that way though. I don't think about Dorian, Lydia, and blah 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 blah.
Right.
None of that.
Right.
It's just this note works here. Why doesn't matter? Just because it does. And that's just how I look at it. But I teach that same way. Like if I teach somebody, I don't teach this, and I don't follow the rules. I'm like, learn this neck. Don't worry about why. Just learn the neck in shapes like this, and then you can understand it better. It's all about shapes. There's different shapes for everything. And everything's repeated all the way up and down. Nothing's. It's not that complicated. But you don't ever know everything. You just take it and use it for what you need it for. That's it.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
So
Well, moving into you've stressed now, or not stressed, you've expressed that you've become independent, working on the new record. When can folks expect kind of some new music?
I don't know. I'm taking my time with it.
Yeah.
I'm taking my time with it. And I just put one out July 2nd with Samantha on Wild Heart. I'm going to let that, that is a great record. People love that record.
Great,
people are really digging it. And I don't think I got to play enough guitar on it. That's one of my things about it. But I'm going to let it play. I'm going to let people tune into it and play it for a while. And I'm hoping by the middle of this year, towards the end of the year, I can start kind of getting stuff together. And like I said, I think it creates more traction to release a song, wait a couple weeks or a month, and then release another one. I think it helps keep people wanting more. Like, this week Boogie released a country song. Next week we hear it's a rock song. We're on the edge of our seats for that one. Whatever. It just creates a vibe, and then I can tell the story kind of that way. Like, wait till next month's episode of new music from Boogie Long.
Yeah.
And I'm about to start. I wouldn't call it a podcast, but I may start like a Monday morning, like every Monday at 10 a.m. Coffee with Boogie kind of thing where I bring on. My idea at first was to bring on fans.
Yeah.
Like Sharon from Massachusetts. What's your favorite Boogie Long song? What do you have in your coffee? What are you looking forward to? And then recap the week or whatever, and then have like a rapid fire, like ask me 3 questions that you want to know. Oh, what's your dog's name? What was your favorite third grade teacher? Whatever, just a rapid fire questions kind of thing. And so I thought about doing like a little 5 or 10 minute kind of segment deal.
Yeah.
Just to kind of help build, just to promote and build followers and give people stuff to look at. Look, I'm not going to name names but I follow somebody that has 1.5 million followers that watch her go to the store and buy dog food and complain about her grandma. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I gotta be able. I gotta be able to do something if I'm. That's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, Keenan Cahill's worth $500,000, and all he did was lip sync to some Britney Spears songs. I love the guy, but he's lip syncing.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
And you definitely are, my friend. And that's really interesting about your parents with the ministry background. There's obviously a theme in your songwriting that's faith tailored to a certain degree. I'd love to kind of dive into that for a second and
Sure.
see what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I was raised full gospel Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus.
Yep.
I believe in the Word of God. I can't say I'm not perfect. I'm not what people would consider a Bible thumper, and I would say that I'm spiritual and not religious, and very, very much so, because they're the first people to judge you and cast a stone, and I'm just not. I don't. Be who you want to be. We're on borrowed time on this rock, this giant rock floating through the solar system, and we think we can say what's better for anybody else. It's just wrong,
Right.
So we just gotta try to enjoy our time here and help each other, and I think that is peace. Peace on earth is just is helping each other and not fighting, and so I just think that I mean, I'm I'm spiritual, not religious, like I said, but spiritual,
Yeah.
I grew up in church. I've been kicked out of churches, I've been
Same.
kicked out of churches, you blue swinging, bar hopping heathen, whatever, I got kicked. I won't say the reason, but I got kicked out of the church that I played at for 15 years of my life. 15 years I was faithful to this church, and they let me go for, reasons. But they'll be the first to judge you and to cast a stone, and it's just I can't get behind that. That ain't Jesus, bro.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
That ain't Jesus.
No.
Jesus was hanging out with the prostitutes and the crackheads, trying to bring people to salvation. He wasn't hanging out with the put your nose up, that ain't who he was hanging out with, bro. So,
and he was doing it in ways that were breaking dimensions. So that's a whole other discussion. No, he wasn't following the rules.
Yeah.
There you go. No. There you go.
Yeah. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, this has been awesome. I really am so glad we could get this in today. And I've got a fun little thing I like to do at the end. It's just like the shootout section where I just say a word that's industry related to the guest, and you fire a word back. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answers.
I'll try.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
try. All right.
Gibson.
335.
Fender.
Esquire.
Ah, interesting. I wasn't seeing that one. I wasn't seeing. That's like a boomerang coming, hitting you in the back of the head. Amp.
Two Rock.
Yeah, they're you play Two Rocks currently, right? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, purple velvet.
That thing's sexy as hell, man. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. It's awesome. It's basically a Dumble. My friend just got a Dumble, and they're, they both sound killer.
Yeah.
So,
distortion.
Vimaram.
Yeah.
Vimuram. When I think of distortion, I'm Vimuram. You know what? I could also say Klon because I love Klons. But
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Clean.
Tone.
Perfect.
That's my word.
Perfect.
Tone.
Delay.
Oh man, carbon copy.
I've got one. I've been using it for 10,
You can
12
freak
years.
them out. That's what I like. I like to freak it out. Like I'll turn all the knobs up, hit this knob, and whip it back.
Yeah.
And it's got the coolest freak out where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy to do that. It's easy to do
on the
that
fly.
on the fly.
On stage.
And that's why I like it. That's why I like it. And you turn it back where you want it, and then you're good. You know?
Yeah.
Simple.
It's
anyway.
only, what is it, 3 knobs?
Yeah.
It's like a mix
and
a delay,
and a mod and like a chorus button.
Yeah. Reverb.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that. And I think they have a plug-in too.
Yeah, the Blue Sky. That's the best reverb. And it's got a shimmer. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You hit a chord, and it's like sounds like a choir of angels singing in the background. It's amazing. So anyway.
Lyric.
Oh man, song. That's my word, song. Lyric,
Blues.
song. Michael Burks.
Yeah.
Can't
argue with that one. Louisiana.
LaRue. Anytime somebody says Louisiana, I think of Louisiana's LaRue. The band LaRue.
Yeah. The last one, but the most important, which is pizza.
Oh man. Well, if out of the chains, Papa John's. That's my
Papa
one.
John's.
It's all about the pepperoncinis, bro. It's all about the little peppers.
Those are pepperoncinis. Is that what they are? Whatever they call them.
Pepperoncinis. Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Yeah. The little green. Yeah. Those are the best.
It's all about that.
Well, are you an Olive Garden fan?
I don't eat Olive Garden a lot.
Okay.
We have some really cool Italian joints around here. So I don't chain it up too much.
I've heard there's good Italian down in like the Baton Rouge area. I don't know if you're still down there, but
Gino's is incredible, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Olive Garden has the pepperoncinis or pepperoncini, whatever they are, pepperoncinis.
Oh yeah, pepperoncinis.
And they load them up right on the bottom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's killer.
That's good stuff.
Where it's at.
So, one last question for you, which I ask everybody at the end, which is if you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now, what would you tell him as advice?
Man, that's a lot. There's so much. Do it independently. Just do it yourself. Knowing what I know now, I would have told my 15-year-old self, hey, in the very near future, all the tools that you need are going to be right at your fingertips. You don't have to give up your heart and soul to appease anybody. You can just be an artist and promote yourself. And I think I would definitely tell my 15-year-old self that. I've been in some crazy situations with deals and just whatnot, through my life. And that's what I would say, and then stay focused. Don't play as much pool. I played a lot of pool growing up, so stay more focused.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Somehow the pool must have helped with the guitar playing because I don't think it detracted from it.
Oh, I spent from the age of 17 till I was about 28. I played I played way more pool than I did guitar, honestly. But
Wow.
You grow up what you grow up liking, and that was my that's the yin to my yang. I've always been a pool hustler, so
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great game.
But,
Great game.
Yeah. Been playing it my whole life.
Well, this is great.
Yeah, man.
All right. So for the description box below for YouTube and Spotify, iHeartRadio, where everybody's listening, and obviously it'll be a release date for this, but if folks are driving or at the gym or something, where can they find you, and where will they be able to find you in the years coming? Because you are going through a little bit of a brand shift.
Yeah, but my Instagram has always been at Boogie Long Blues, and then it's the same thing for Facebook. It'll be at Boogie Long Blues. So that's pretty much if you type Boogie Long in any social media, you'll find me, and then just go like those pages. I promote all shows on those pages, and I'm on a lot of festivals. Michael Arnold's Crawfish Fest, New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. I'll be on the Bluesberry Festival in Covington, Baton Rouge Blues Festival, the White Mountain Boogie Festival. There's a lot of festivals that we're on this year. So
that's great.
Social media is the biggest way to follow, because that's my main focus right now, like trying to build that up. So
yeah.
And then boogielong.com, BOOGIELONG.com. So, simple, easy to find. That's what we're trying to do. I'm going to have some Jonathon Long shirts going on sale just to clear out old merch and bring in some new.
Cool.
So,
cool.
Yeah. But
well, this was great. And thanks again for taking the time. I know it took a couple of months of volleying to really make it happen with the schedule.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too. I mean, I'm working on remodeling the house, so that's where I'm at, and just kind of we're actually, as soon as I get off of here, my buddy's been in there working his ass off on my shower, so I got to go help him.
Yeah, for sure.
Or do the best I can to help him. I'm not really a contractor, or I'm probably a really shitty helper. I am a really shitty helper, but I do the best I can to make stuff easier for him anyway. So
we'll wrap this up so you can get back to the remodeling. But yeah, you guys have been watching and listening to the Jason Damico show. I want to thank you so much for choosing us to listen to, and definitely check out Jonathon Boogie Long's music if you haven't already. It will definitely floor you and inspire you all at the same time. It is really incredible. So honored to have him on this episode, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.